Shall I start? So we'll move to the version 2. So based on the previous version and the mathematical expressions, we need to analyze something else to achieve for the real time. So before going to the version 1, version 2, the version 1 we didn't analyze for the FFT. So without FFT computation, only for the S of n or C of n computation alone, we are lag with the number of clock cycles to be processed for the input sample. So in case if we add the FFT, definitely it will be still be lacking. So first we will need to analyze the FFT function. So for the analyzing the FFT function, actually the 256 point FFT for the 8 kilohertz or the 512 point FFT for the 16 kilohertz, the computation is much overhead and it will be a tedious one. For computing this higher order FFT, we are going in the hierarchical design, which is from the lower point FFT to the higher point FFT. So the 256 point FFT is computed using 16 point FFT with row column transfers with the two different stages. And for the 512 point FFT, we are using a 16 point FFT in the first stage and 32 point FFT in the second stage. For doing this computation, we need to analyze the mathematical function behind the FFT. So I'll just rewind the mathematical equation for the FFT function. We can able to see the step 2 third equation. X of k is x of 16r plus s. So which actually divided into two different FFT. Means one dimensional FFT of 256 is divided into two 16 point FFT of two dimensional. So for the second step third equation, it's saying that L equal to 0 to 15 is the first dimension of the FFT. So to do this first dimension of the FFT function for the 256 point, what are the samples actually we need to analyze. To analyze this, if m equal to 0, the L is varying from 0 to 15. This is the first set of first dimension for the first FFT function. So for this, the x of 0 and then x of 16 and then x of 32, x of 48, which is actually the multiplication of 16. We are getting a 16 samples for the first FFT subframe. For this subframe, we need the sample number as 0, 16, 32, 48. So in this again, in case if you are doing a FFT with the butterfly based diagram, the butterfly structure we need to analyze it back again, which samples actually we need to read. So for the second subframe of FFT, it will be calculated with m equal to 1 and again L equal to 0 to 15 variation. So in this case, the samples are 1, 17, 33, 49 and so on. So like that we will get 16 subframes of FFT for the 256 point in the first dimension. Once the first dimension FFT is computed, we need to multiply the respective W256 power of ms, which is a twiddle factor for each and every subframe of FFT. So once we multiply this subframe with the respective W256 of ms, then the entire functionality again going for the second stage or second dimension of FFT for the second subframes. So again this 16 subframes will be computed for the second dimension of the 16 point FFT for the 256. In case if it is a 512 point for the 16 kilohertz sampling frequency, for the first dimension we'll get 32 different subframes for the FFT functionality in the first dimension. Then it will be computed with, it will be multiplied with the twiddle factor of W512 of ms. Again, it will going for the second dimension of FFT, which actually a 32 point FFT for the 512 point FFT function, which is actually a 16 kilohertz. So once if you want to do all these things, again we need to remember what are the input samples we required for the computation. As here we observed for the first subframe computation, the input sample number is 0, 16, 32, 48, which is not the consecutive number of the samples. So we'll never get the 0th sample and the 16th sample in the consecutive. So we need to wait until the 15th sample, then only we'll get the 16 sample. So if we analyze the entire thing for the first frame alone, first subframe alone, it will start from 0 to 199, and then from 200 to 255, it will be the padded zeros as per the sampling frequency and the frame window, also the FFT size. So from 200 to 256, if it is 0, so the last sample 192 for the first subframe is must to start computation of the first dimension, first subframe of FFT. So after the 192nd sample, we can able to start computing the first dimension, first FFT function. So this is the first observation we got for the FFT functionality. So definitely we need to buffer all the inputs until the 192nd sample is coming or reached for the 256 point FFT, which is 8 kilohertz, or else it's 400 minus 16, which is actually 384th sample for the 16 kilohertz sample. So we'll analyze again the FFT function. We can able to see 16 subframes are stacked. In that, the first subframe has x of 0 and x of 16 and x of 32 and x of 48 until x of 240, but until x of 192 is having the non-zero coefficient. After that, everything is a padded zeros. Similarly, for the consecutive frames, the consecutive numbers are there. So we need to generate the address for the read and write logic so that we can easily do the FFT function. Next, for the second stage or the 512 point, the similar structure is 0, 16 or 32, but for the second subframe, when it comes, it will going for 0 and 32nd sample instead of 16, which is actually row column inverse, which exactly giving the first sample or first coefficient of the FFT function. So this FFT 256 using 16 point is a black diagram, which actually show the signal flow graph of the FFT calculation. So from the input buffer, we need to give input values to the FFT. So why 216 point FFT in the sense? Actually, for the real time, we said 80 clock cycle is there to process only a single frame. So within this 80 clock cycle, if you want to process 256 signal or 256 samples, minimum we need to read a 4 sample at a time. So if we can able to read 4 sample at a time, definitely we can, our clock cycle will be less than 80, so which is actually 64 clock cycle. So 256 divided by 4 will give a 64 clock cycle. It means we can able to read all the samples of first subframe or first frame within 64 clock cycle. So one frame sample, we can able to read it with the 64 clock cycle, and the next remaining 16 clock cycle will be idle, or it will be used for the reset and enable and the setting of the initial conditions for the hardware. Similarly, for the 512 point, it will be 0. For the 512 point, it will be 160 samples. So 160 clock cycle is required. So after the 160 clock cycle, that means we have only 160 clock cycle, but the frames are 400 clock cycles. So which is converted into 512 point FFT. So we need to read this 512 signals within 160 clock cycle. So again, this 512 will be divided with 4, which is exactly giving us 128. So for the 512 point FFT, we need to read again 4 samples per clock. So to read this 4 sample per clock, in the sense, for the FFT function, for the butterfly, we need 2 samples per butterfly. So we are trying to do 2 different FFT or 2 different subframe computations. So for the FFT 16 in the top, it's doing 1 subframe computation, and the FFT 16 in the down, it's doing second or some other subframe computation of FFT 16. So from the input buffer, we are trying to read 4 signals at a time for the first stage of FFT function, which actually doing 2 subframes computation. So the twiddle factor at last, whatever the FFT is giving from the first stage, we'll get 4 coefficients at a time. It means per clock, we'll get a 4 coefficients as output. So whenever we get the 4 coefficients as output, which actually has 2 subframes, so the 2 subframes will have 2 different W256 per ms. So we need a 2 multiplication function to compute the twiddle factor computation. So once the twiddle factor computation is happened, we need to do the row column inverse. So how we are going to do the row column inverse, I'll